another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, you forget it. Yeah, baby, I mean it. If it come down to it, let me show you how to play.
Y'all about my big bro Gerard in the podcast crew.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Floor Is Yours podcast. We are excited again to have you here. But before we go another further, we want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. Right now, call everybody and a cousin and tell them that the Floor Is Yours podcast is on. And so this is going to be a great show because it's all we do is bring you great shows. And, we are closing out Men's Mental Health Month. And so we thought, what a great way to end it, but to talk about and discuss toxic masculinity. And what we're going to dive into today is some of the stereotypes of toxic masculinity. And also we're going to talk a little bit about how to override those tendencies. And so we have an excellent panel today. Of course, I got my main man, Gerard, in the building. Gerard, say what's up to everybody.
Good evening, people. How's everyone? Thank you, gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to share the screen with you.
Next to me, we got Mr. JT himself. JT is a phenomenal young man doing great things in our community, and we're excited to have a discussion with him today on men's mental health and, of course, toxic masculinity. So, JT, tell the folks a little bit about yourself before we dive into the topic.
Well, again, my name is JT Bruce, Jamar Bruce, born and raised in Texarkana, Arkansas. Currently reside in the Houston, Texas area at the moment. Of course, I am a filmmaker as well as a advocate for domestic violence as well as mental health. Also, I advocate for mental health. So basically what we want to speak to you about, we do have an event that's getting ready to come up in September, which is September the 27th. So I'm sure that you have been seeing it on your news feed as far as your Facebook, whether it be Instagram, TikTok. I'm sure you've been seeing that, entitled Create the Life I Want. So for those of you who might not know what that is, basically that's an event that I've had put together. It's a men's mental health awareness event that I put together to be able to give men a safe space to be able to come in and speak about struggles and challenges that they might have. That's a judge where you don't judge or anything. You be able to come in and speak about the challenges that they face in everyday life, and just to give them that safe space to be able to talk and open up, to let them know that they're not the only one that's going through certain situations in life, just to connect with other men that might be dealing and going through certain situations as well. So again, that's what we got going on September the 27th, and we hope that you'll be able to come and be a great part of that event on September the 27th. Of course, we got the great keynote speaker, Mr. Gregory Mckinney, that accepted the invitation. So again, thank you, sir, for accepting the invitation to be a part of this event, as well as my good partner Gerard were as well. And so we just looking forward to having you guys and hosting you guys on September the 27th, and come in and be educated and get the knowledge and tools that you need so that you can be able to better yourself and better your mental health.
Thank you. This being men's mental health, I think is an excellent time for us to have this discussion. And here we like to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And being a man and taking care of our own mental health is a struggle. And it can be a struggle when people consider you being toxic just because of the body that God has given you. Sometimes, even if you don't have the intention of coming across as negative, because of just stereotypes that are perceived about maybe where you come from, your socioeconomic status, or maybe your ethnicity, your height, your age, it can be considered toxic. And so we're going to talk about toxic masculinity, and just for the nature of this, for the sake of this conversation, toxic masculinity is described or defined as negative behaviors or patterns that negatively impact their community and society as a whole. So these are negative traits that are put on men that are considered to have unflattering responses to the people around them. And so we want to discuss a little bit tonight. Are all masculine tendencies negative, or sometimes do men get a bad rap for just showing up as a man? Do sometimes we get a bad rap for striving to be leaders and to give clarity to chaos? So it could be confusing from time to time. This is important to discuss because one statistic that I recently discovered that I think is important to bring up is that the number one killer of men under 50 is suicide. And if you think about that, that is a scary statistic to accept, that
Yeah,
more than heart disease, more than murder, more than car crashes, the number one thing that's taking our men out is suicide. And that's because men not feeling like they have a safe place to express their feelings and their thoughts and their emotions. And so we're eager to have that conversation today. Gerard, you got any thoughts around what does it mean to be a toxic male?
yeah. Really, just to add to some more context to the discussion. There is when JT brought up the topic like about manning up. There are times where we absolutely should man up, right? I believe that there are, and Gregory, you and I talked about this. There are roles that we play in this society that we should do with honor and with great purpose and with the seriousness that reflects us as leaders, right? But there are times where you get into where you got to prove and show how tough you are, and those some of the things that we're going to talk about is why we feel the need to go over and beyond, and how can we address some of those things right there. So that's just kind of where I just want to add context to what you've already stated. To say again, there are times where we do need to man up, and we don't want to take away from those moments, but there are
Mhm.
also times where, for whatever reason, that we can go overboard and do more harm than good.
Yeah, yeah. Here's my thought, fellas, is that there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. There is such a thing as cruelty. And so when we talk about toxic masculinity, far as aggression and causing harm, that's not toxic masculinity. That's just cruelty. And I think we have to be careful for the protection of our men to be careful with the word choices that we use in toxic masculinity, because what you're saying is men are toxic. Masculinity defined as attributes that are usually given to the male species. So by definition, we're saying maleness is toxic. Now, there's no such thing, at least in my opinion, and feel free to disagree, fellas, as toxic masculinity. There is violence, true. There is cruelty, and we don't condone that whatsoever. But if a man is showing up in an effort to protect and to provide leadership and to provide clarity, um, it is not toxicity. Oftentimes, it is uncomfortable for the people around them to accept accountability or to hear what needs to be said, but it's not toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and I'll say, and I won't get JT opinion on it. I respectfully disagree. I do think that it actually defines some traits that where we do go above and beyond, where we're overly competitive, when we suppress emotions. Some of the other things they talk about, the aggression and violence, hyper competitiveness,
Hmm.
self-reliance. And I do absolutely get your point. And the definition does say that it's a social construct, if you will. So I
Hmm.
think it's something that came along later, try to define a obvious challenge and an obvious problem. But at the same time, I don't want to be splitting hairs either to say like whether or not that term is relevant. I think we both, all three of us, can agree that it's an issue that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. JT, what are your thoughts? You think men are toxic, or are we just getting a bad rap?
As far as when it comes to masculine, as far as the toxic part, I think it is something toxic because, like I said, I believe that a lot of us hold things in
Hmm.
without, sharing things, which makes it toxic because we feel like we can't share certain things. And it's just some of that what it looks like is for, because I know I've been guilty of that, wanting to be in control of everything, which is another example of masculinity toxic. When it comes to dealing with your mental health. So I believe again, I believe it is a true thing that it is toxic, just how we hold everything here and how it leads to other situations in our life. And what I call that uses something like the hidden crisis, to where it ends up showing up in other places in your life, whether it be like your relationships or whether it be your marriage, your finances. So I believe that it is a toxic situation that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. That's good. We do have a lot of unhealthy patterns as men, and oftentimes it's because we don't have a state of grace that I think women get to be vulnerable or to be fragile and to be able to express ourselves and to know that it is okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay not okay. That we do need help, and if we don't help ourselves, then eventually that's just going to bleed into the people that are around us. And to the point that you two are making, that in itself is toxic, because we're walking around with a limp and hurt. We're just injuring everybody that's around us. And so, to your point, why do we need good mental health? And as men, is because we don't want to be a danger to those people that are around us. And so, I definitely agree with that point there. You
And I think
know,
there's
what?
some, and I think there's some too,
Yeah,
again, that we just need to begin to start opening up more about. And I think it
yeah,
comes from more of, again, being judged,
Mhm.
being considered as being called weak. And
Yeah,
again, it's just something that us as men, we deal with a lot with that. And it's just something we definitely need to let go and be able to open up and be able to ask for help. Because again, it's okay not to be okay. It does not make you weak just because you ask for help.
that's good.
yeah,
And I want to add on that too, how it actually. I look back, when I, influenced my nieces and nephews, and specifically my nephews in this example. When I see them, acting out, or ready to, cry, or expressing emotion, which is absolutely healthy, and them tapping them to, hey, man up, man, cut that out, cut that out. Like, we're really teaching that. I've been guilty of teaching that younger, as younger. And of course, didn't know any better, but it's one of those things that when you know better, you do better, hopefully. So these type of shows, I think, highlight how even not just us and as men, but how it can start off, with little boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
we've all
wish
been
we
guilty
could.
of it.
Yeah, I think so. I wish we could change the word weak to being human. Because oftentimes when we have these moments where we reach our capacity, we have these moments where we're at our end, we think, oh, I'm showing up as weak. I'm showing up as less than. You're showing up as a human. We are finite creatures.
Yeah.
We do not have an endless supply of wisdom. We do not have an endless supply of energy. We are limited in our capacity of what we're able to do. And when you reach that breaking point, I hate that the stigma that's attached to men is that he's weak, he's lesser than, instead of just saying he's human. And as humans, we need time to pause and to reset and to reflect and to re-strategize so we can come back stronger and better. And I think that is the strategy that men need to know in their heart. I'm just being human right now. I need to recoup so I can come back stronger and better than before.
Yeah, that's good. And just for the audience out there, I just want y'all to know we see the comments. We appreciate them. Keep them coming. We're going to get to them here in a minute. I know there's been a couple people that's welcoming us to their homes. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for sharing, if you will. But again, keep the comments coming, and we're going to get to them and address each one of them.
One of the things as I work with men that I hear from time to time, and I'm interested to hear JT and Gerard what you have to say about this, is a lot of men do not want to seek help because they are in fear of losing their edge. They look at that kind of eagerness or assertiveness that we have, that just relentless pursuit, as being an edge in life. And so they would rather go through life stressed out with anxiety because they feels that gives them the push that they need to succeed in life, than to actually get a release and to have peace of mind and to have calmness, because they feel that edge of anxiety, that anxiety gives them an edge, not knowing, as I believe, that if you were to get help, then you can show up fuller and more effective. What do you guys think? You think guys are afraid that if I actually work through my issues, then I will not have the edge that I find to be my advantage?
Man, you want me to go first, JT?
You go. You go.
Yeah, so I've talked a lot about being able to recognize difference between being content and being complacent. And again, this is, in my opinion, this is not splitting words. They can seem the same, but I think when you're complacent, there's a level of laziness, if you will, a level of negligence sometimes, especially if you are responsible for other people. But when you're content, I think that allows you to be happy with what you have, and you can nurture, whether it's relationships, other blessings, a home, a job, other opportunities. You nurture those things and they grow. But sometimes if we don't learn to be content with what we have, I think it gets to be what you're saying, Gregory, like this never-ending pursuit of just busybody type work. And I've been guilty of that, and constantly, even now, have to check myself for that, to say, like, you know what, Gerard, slow down, enjoy the people, the opportunities, that's in your life right now, and enjoy them. Let them grow, and because if not, it turns into greed, if you will, to where nothing is ever enough, and I don't show appreciation, especially when it comes to the people that are in my life. I don't cherish those relationships, and then you look up one day and they're gone.
Yeah. It becomes this lifestyle where you're never grateful, right? You're never fully satisfied, and life just seems empty. Yeah, because the next thing is always going to be better than what I currently have. So I can't sit here and enjoy this. Yeah. And a lot of men don't want to lose that trait. They feel like that's what gives them their drive. And a lot of men don't want to go see a coach or a counselor because of that. What's your thoughts, JT?
Well, me, because like I said, I had my pride stuck in the way. So I was one of those that's guilty. I didn't want to go see a coach. I didn't want to go see a counselor. I really thought it was no use. Again, like I told Gerard early on, I thought I didn't even have a problem until I actually got enrolled into my 90-day mental health rehab treatment. So, like I say, it's so important if you do have a problem, if you see that you have a problem, especially if you in a marriage or relationship, that you receive that help, so that it won't linger on to something else that can possibly turn out worse, to where that person end up leaving you. And so that's why I said I had to end up making sure that I got the help that I need to receive so that I can better myself.
Yeah, absolutely. When men don't face those toxic traits, as we spoke earlier, they bleed onto others. But how it affects men personally is that it leads to one or two things. It could be depression or addiction. Usually, you find men go to these very dark places when they don't go get a treatment, and they become so depressed that they become, just no good for nobody at all. Or they get addictions, no matter what that addiction may look like. They're looking for a band-aid to fix that wound. But you can't fix what you won't face. They're avoiding the real issue, and they're just covering it up with alcohol or women or money, time and time again. And so that's why it is super important for us to get our mental health checked out. And JT, I like what you said earlier about, we all are going to face crisis in life. Here's my thought as a faith-based coach, is that a crisis is meant to lead you to Christ. And so when you're in a storm, you find yourself needing help from a higher power. The first name you should call is to God. When you look at the Bible, Jesus has examples where his disciples were in a storm, but he was always there with them. All they had to do was call his name, and he would stop the storm. And so what you find in that scenario is that the disciples were so concerned about the boat being destroyed. They were concerned about the weather, but it wasn't until they called upon Christ that the storm began to ease. I say that to say this: men, you cannot do it by yourself. You're going to need to call on somebody. First, your God, and then someone there is able to help you through this storm. God is not intimidated by common sense. You can have both God and a counselor at the same time. And so you cannot, a crisis again is supposed to lead you to Christ, and Christ has already provided the tools and resources that you need. You just got to take advantage of them.
That's good. That's good. So we got a few comments. I just want to go down and recognize our followers because we wouldn't be doing this without them. So
Absolutely.
yeah, my cousin Doris, hey, out there in Fort Worth, as we say, Funky Town here. She's watching. Yeah, my boy Ron Barnett, appreciate you. Dr. Elizabeth Jennings, one of smartest ladies I've ever met in my life. She's saying she's sharing, and this is always important. You know, we always say like the information is only good if it's reaching people. So thank you for sharing the show and helping us do that. And here's Dr. Timothy Jameson. We had him on. Remember Gregory? Week or so ago. He was talking about a bad rap earlier. You know, when you're talking about this toxic masculinity, or sometimes when you overly show yourself as masculine, you know, and how that can show up. And he said upbringing is a strong influence. I'll let you guys both address this, if you will, how your upbringing is a strong influence on how you show yourself in a masculine form, whether it's toxic or, you know, you just being assertive and a good leader. Either one of you.
And I say for me, like, as far as my upbringing, I don't recall too much of my dad like saying, "Don't cry," you know, "Stop crying." If I feel anything, I would say it was mostly like if I was hanging around friends.
Yeah.
So what we call homeboys, which you want to always try to impress them. So you might hear them saying, you know, you want to try to be the strong one in the group, not showing that you're a man, so not showing a weak side. So I would say, as far as like my upbringing, that's a lot as far as like where I began to hold a lot in, because I wanted to try to pretend to be the strong one, not the weak one, with, you know, who I might thought was my friends, and which I think also leads to a problem with a bunch of men like leaving stuff inside as well, not wanting to open up because again they want to show that strong and show that strength, showing that they're not that weak person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I couldn't agree more. I want to echo what you just said. You know, our peer group in particular has a big influence on us, sometimes even bigger than our parents do. And a lot of times of course, no one wants to stand out because you're insecure when you're a teenager. You know, those are the most insecure times of your life when you are through adolescence, and you don't want to be the tallest one. You don't want to be the shortest one. You don't want to be this. You just want to kind of almost at times be invisible. So you assimilate in order to fit in. And assimilation oftentimes can be repeating negative habits, you know, and that can lead to a mindset of negativity, which is toxic masculinity. And so your upbringing does have a huge influence on your development and what you see as positive and negative. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good. And we got another one from Dr. Timothy. He says, unresolved trauma from my upbringing needs to be attended to. Boy within is still acting out because of no therapy. You're right. You know, just because I'm grown don't mean that what I dealt with when I was a young boy goes away, right? And if anything, I found that it gets worse. You know, now you're up there, you're an adult, you don't have the same accountabilities or responsibilities, you know, to others that you did as a child, or you don't have to answer to as many people. So I've literally seen those childhood behaviors get worse when a person is an adult.
Yeah, and that's me. I can you know, agree with that because I'm still trying to unpack years of baggage. So, and that's why it's so important, like to as far as like teaching your kids while they're young, not to speak out, not letting them feel so restricted, like they can't open up and speak out,
Yeah.
and you know, share what's going on with them, so it won't lead to that years of baggage of trauma to where they end up carrying into their adulthood to where it end up affecting them later on.
Yeah. Gregory, you want to add to that?
Yeah, you know, what we've been through, if not dealt with, it still impacts us for a lifetime. Contrary to what the cliche says, time does not heal all wounds.
Say what?
Work Work heals the wounds.
Yeah.
Therapy heals the wounds. Acknowledgement heals the wounds.
Yeah.
Again, you can't fix what you won't face. You can't conquer what you won't confront. You're gonna have to look it dead in his eye and say, "This is not working for me. I'm a danger to myself and a danger to those around me. So I need to be able to exhibit qualities that are beneficial to not only myself but my community and my loved ones." A lot of how I define masculinity is danger under control. And so I relate it to the concept of fire. If fire is under control, it is very beneficial. It can warm our homes, it can help us prepare meals, but if it's not under control, it can cause serious damage. And so likewise with masculinity, if we are to be dangerous as men, but we should be dangerous under control. What the Bible called meekness. Meekness is strength under control. And so, as men, I don't encourage men to lessen their power. I encourage men to control their power to where it's beneficial to themselves, their communities, and their loved ones.
That's dope. That's dope, man. It's good stuff. So what we're gonna do real quick and go to a commercial break. After commercial break, we're gonna come back and continue the discussion.
What you need to do is get your ass a job. A job, boy.
Will you continue to sit here and take this from him?
Losing a job that you had for 13 years isn't an easy pill to swallow.
That's the problem, Mama. You keep giving this man chances. How many more chances does he need before he ends up killing one of us?
I've tolerated this for too long.
You can only hide things for so long. And you're a fucking coward.
Either get some help or me and my son are gone. Michael, just wait. Like, you don't understand.
I don't understand. What I understand, why look at your face.
There's some activities I've been a part of where you look at a film or a book or a statement and you just pull out the different issues in that. And like there are so many that says no escape. Your feelings, violence, verbal or physical. Like there's a number of issues, and it makes me look at just anybody can be in any number of those situations, right? Just in your normal household. 2-parent household, 1-parent household, whatever. And it just shows like anything could be weighing on you and affect your mental. So that's just something that I brought out of there. But I'm going to give JT a minute, if you will, just to tell us about that short film and how that relates to what the event that's coming up.
So again, it's a short film I did back in 2000, a little bit before COVID. A little before COVID. So it was like 2020, the earlier part of 2020. And basically that deals with alcoholism and domestic violence in the household. And I went on to win a few awards with it as well through several film festivals throughout the United States. And the reason why I did that film, because again, a lot of things that I write deals with real life situations. And I can relate that film a lot to the event that's happening because it's just certain situations that the son was actually going through in the house, to where he actually kept a lot held in, to where he wanted to, tell his mom to get out of certain situations that began to mess with her mental health as well. And so again, it's just a film that deals with the alcoholism, domestic violence. And I hope to be able to release it on YouTube this fall as well, because again, it was going through film festival circuits, and it's been about 4 or 5 years now. So I do hope to release that this year on YouTube, so guys be able to see it. But it's like a 15-minute short film also.
Hats off to you for that, man.
That's great. You about to blow up.
Hey, I'm trying to.
No, good work, man. Good work, definitely.
Got a couple more comments we'll get to before we go to the next topic. We got longtime military buddy Brian Kiki Jackson. He said, we must understand there's a major difference to allow your kids to speak out and show out. Pride and fear of brothers and sisters. You're right.
Mhm.
So speaking out is important, but we got to make sure that they're doing it respectfully and it's not just them
Mhm.
showing out. Would y'all agree with that?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Got to train the child in the way that it should go. I love talking about parenting, and one of the things I say that I use with my kids is that you always have a voice, but you may not have a vote. And so there are some things in our family that you can vote on, like what movie we go to, you have a vote. What restaurant we go to, you have a vote on that. But there are some issues in our house where you don't have a vote. That's between me and your mother as the adults, as the leaders of this home. And that gave them a sense of belonging. That gave them a sense of I am important. You have a voice, but on some topics you don't have a vote. And they were able to understand that. And so I agree with that statement. There are some times where we need to teach kids how to be appropriate for the occasion, where they are and how to be respectful. But we don't want to silence our kids because one of the saddest things in life, I think, is not that my children will fail, but that they will not feel safe coming to me when they fall. So I
Yeah.
do want to always leave that door open for them.
Yeah.
And you don't have to yell to get your point across, which always helps as well, that I've learned. So yelling is not always the solution either.
Yeah. Yelling. And then the other one is because I said,
Yeah.
because I
Say so. Say
sometimes it's
so.
only appropriate, but hey, we got
Yeah.
another comment right here I want to read and let you guys both respond to it from hometown Saku. Appreciate the comment. Thank you for tuning in. But he said, in many cases, we overlook the ACEs, and that's an acronym, if you will, for adverse childhood experiences. So we overlook the adverse childhood experiences that happen in our lives, especially in the Black culture. We had a bad habit of not looking soft, what you talked about earlier, JT, at least in my time. And it, in a sense, trained me to erect walls and build barriers that keep me in the safe zone from not looking soft to my peers in a world that sensationalizes tough guys. Man, that last part right there, when you sensationalize tough guys, you're right. And you're right. There's a number of reasons, and I think JT, you did say that it ain't necessarily from in your house. It could be your friends,
Yeah.
and the playground rules.
Yeah.
You can't go and tell it. You get beat up, or even if you don't get beat up, you just don't do it. So I'll let either one of you respond to this one if you want.
It disappoints me that we don't accept a well-rounded man. Like I said earlier, how I define masculinity is danger under control. So that means I have the capacity to protect when I need to. I have the capacity to be assertive when I need to. But then I also have the capacity to be gentle when I need to be nurturing when I need to. Because what we're striving to be is just to be a well-rounded individual. And a lot of times our trauma versus getting beat up on the playground, getting teased, getting picked on, that really shapes us if we don't have the right outlet or role models to tell us how to handle and navigate those waters. Because the truth is, everybody's going to get picked on in one form or fashion. Everybody's going to get teased in one form or fashion. You may not have a physical fight, but you're going to have some fights along the way. And so, and that's okay to have that within you to fight back. I would never tell anyone just to be a doormat. I'm telling you, have the capacity to fight back, but just know when. But if you don't understand when the time is to find common ground or when to stand your ground, that becomes trauma. And that trauma traps you into a single mindset that says, I have to be stoic. I can't show emotions. I can't have a heart. And I'm going to now go forward in a way that I'm not going to show anybody my authentic self. And you become trapped now, living it within yourself and never really feeling love and never really having fulfilling life because you're just so limited.
And I want to make sure that we're not operating in some reality. So we're not just throwing this information out there and we're so disconnected from what people actually go through that we don't understand. So let's just be real. Like there are some times where you're on the playground and you're faced with these issues, and what do you do? I've asked both of you, like, what kind of advice would you offer a young kid, or a father that has to teach his kid how to manage these kind of situations, right? Like this is something that's pretty common. They're out here dealing with friends that display, toxic behaviors or bad behaviors, and you're in the middle of it and you got to deal with it in the moment, So whether you doing it as a father talking to your kid or if you're a child in the middle of it, like what advice do you have?
I mean, for me, as a father myself, for me, basically, I just let my kids know hey, you can just be yourself. Be yourself, to let them know that they can always come talk to me about anything, to open up to, you don't have to always be the tough person. And again, it's okay to open up about different stuff that you're going through. You don't have to always try to impress somebody, because it can lead to other things.
Yeah.
And so I just try to, again, just try to let my kids know that I'm there to listen to them, that they can always come and talk to me about anything that they want to talk about, that they don't have to depend on anybody else to try to be tough and try to impress them, that I have that open communication to where they can be able to come to me and talk.
It's dope. That's definitely needed. Appreciate that. Gregory?
I would say learn how to fight, but learn how to fight effectively. God would not have given us armor to wear if he didn't expect us to go into war. And so there are going to be fights spiritually, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. And what I want to be as a father is to teach my children how to be effective for the occasion. And if this is an occasion where we're going to have to fight physically, then we're going to have to fight physically. Because I don't want you to be scared of a fight, even if you lose. It's okay. But if you can avoid the fight, sure, go tell the teacher, sure, absolutely. But if your back is against the wall, don't be afraid to fight, because life is a series of hurdles and a series of fights. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm not encouraging going out and being a bully, but I do want to prepare my children to know that when push comes to shove, you're prepared for whatever life brings your way. Because most of the fights are not physical. They are more spiritual than anything else. But you will have to fight in life. So let me get you prepared for that.
Yeah. Hey, that's good, both y'all. Like Kiki said, cussing and switches worked back in the day. Yeah.
Did they though? Really? I don't know.
There was this thing on Facebook that said, you look at kids these days and how we was raised, and you wonder, are we crazy because we got beat, or are they too soft because they didn't? So.
Yeah. The jury's still out on that for me. I'm not sure. I will say that the cussing and the switches did give the previous generation more control. There was more respect given, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It may have caused harm as well. And I'm okay with corporal punishment, but I generally get fearful with the vigor that some parents approach corporal punishment.
Yeah.
The excitement that they get.
Yeah. Well, I got my butt beat, and I think I turned out okay in some aspects. And some other stuff too. So hey, one thing we want to talk about before we end this is we talked earlier when we set up the show about what self-care looks like. And so let's talk about the importance of self-care and what it could potentially look like. We know it's different from person to person, but who wants to start? What is self-care and why is it important?
Well, I think, again, as me being in mental health and rehab treatment, I actually didn't know too much about self-care before even coming to this program. So
Really?
again, I'm glad. Yeah, I really didn't. And to me, I've learned how important it is to be able to have self-care and to be able to, and it helps you. It helps you to, with your mental health as far as like when you're dealing with stuff. And for me, I've learned what helps me when I think about self-care is just things such as like meditation, journaling. I've been doing a lot of journaling since I've been in rehab, which helps, and that's another way of getting things off my chest, of not being able to hold a lot of things in. So I do a lot of journaling. Self-care can also be things such as setting boundaries, because a lot of us don't set boundaries that we need to set. We afraid that a person might get mad because we tell them no. You have to learn to set those boundaries, because again, if not, that affects your mental health as well. So like I say, I just think that self care is very important to your mental health. Even with mental health work days, you have mental health days with your job. Be sure to take those as well because it's so important. You need it. I mean, you can't function if your mind is not right. So it's very important that you make sure that you're taking care of yourself, setting those boundaries, doing meditation, journaling, just doing things that you enjoy doing, just spending that time to yourself, making it about you at that point and nobody else.
That's good. Good.
Yeah,
Gregory?
that's good. JT, I think you said it perfectly.
Yeah.
Whatever nourishes your soul is what you should do. And that looks different from man to man. For some men, it could be sports. For some men, it could be fishing. For some men, it could be, a facial and a pedicure and a manicure. It looks different from man to
Yeah.
man. For some men, it could be spending time with your children. It could be painting. It could be listening to music. What is important is that you find your thing and you do it. Because one of the things that I briefly spoke about earlier is that some men don't know their capacity levels. They don't know how far they could go without being replenished. And that is what causes physical disease and ulcers and depression is to know, hey, after a while, I'm going to need a break. I'm going to have to take a knee, and it's okay because I'm human. And I'm going to go do this thing that I enjoy. I'm going to go fishing, and I'm going to reset and replenish myself. So it's not so much what your thing is, but you do that thing that nourishes your soul. If it's reading, if it's walking, if it's exercise, find out what it is that makes you feel more like you and make that a requirement for yourself on a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
man, this has been good, and we can go on and on, but we're going to give them a little bit of what's to come. And with that being said, I just want to go ahead and share one of the flyers of the upcoming event, and I'm going to let you both speak on what's going on and your part in it. So, JT, tell us again, man, what's going on and how can people be a part of this?
So again, it's September the 27th, Texarkana, Texas. You do not want to miss it. You definitely want to be there. We do have the Create the Life I Want event that will be happening. Again, a men's mental health event. And we encourage women to come too. It's not just a men's event. If you're a woman, you can come as well. We'd love to have you also. But we have a great lineup, dynamic panel. We also have Kafia Rollison, which is one of Sunday's best season 6 runner-up. She'll be also performing live, and we also have some other surprise guests and things that'll be happening as well. And again, it's not just your typical event where you have the dynamic panel of speakers. It'll be live entertainment. Also, we have refreshments that we'll be doing as well. So we just look for you to come out and have a good time with us. And like I said, it's just a safe place and a safe space for you guys to be able to communicate and just open up and share about the challenges and struggles that you might be dealing with, to just let you know that you're not the only one that's dealing with certain situations. There's other men that looks like you that also deals with things as well. So we just hope to have you in the building on September the 27th. Again, that's 5 p.m. at the Radiant Church in Texarkana. We do have tickets on sale. You can visit www.lifeiwantevent.com. Right now, we do have a early bird promotion that's going on right now after July the 1st. That will change. So you just have not too long to get those tickets before prices do increase. But again, we do look forward to having you in the building on September the 27th. And glad again to have keynote speaker Gregory Mckinney on board as well.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I am super excited, hyena happy about being a part of this, and my contribution to it is I want to provide the men with routines and daily habits and skill sets that they can take away, and they can do self-checks, and they can check on themselves mentally and know, am I okay, or do I need to talk to somebody? I also want to speak to the men about nurturing their relationships with women. I am the emotional intelligence guy, and women are so critical to our mental health because they are our biggest source of comfort. They are the source that allows us to be soft. We don't get to be soft in life. We don't have many safe places to land. But in the confines of relationship with our women, be it our mothers, our sisters, our daughters, or our spouses, our girlfriends, that's where we get to lay our head and rest and get some peace for a while. And so I want to also leave the men with some tools about how can we effectively communicate with our women so that in turn we can pour into them as they pour into us. And so I'm just tickled pink to be part of this. I know it's going to be great. It's going to be off the chain, and I'm looking forward to it.
And as I said, and as I continue to say, it's going to be a great event. And like for said, we're looking forward to a lot of people coming out and being a part of something great. And like I said, to be able to get the knowledge and the tools to be able to better yourself, your mental health, because we all know someone that dealt with depression, anxiety. We all know someone that's dealing with something. So yeah, just come out and have a good time with us and get the tools and the knowledge that you need so that you can be able to share it with somebody or be able to help yourself as well.
Yeah, that's good. Good. Appreciate y'all sharing. We got a couple more comments and then we're going to close the show. Saku came back and said, self-care is not one-sided or a cookie cutter. Self-care is first off individualized. Absolutely. And secondly, we have to take a look at what we are depleted of and find effective ways to address that area. He was echoing my sentiments as I typed. Yeah, that was good stuff. I like what he said there at the end. Define the things that we're depleted of and not normalize them and make it because we're strong, because we're struggling, or because we exasperate or tired in these areas. You're right. So appreciate that comment. Anybody want to comment on it before we go to the next one?
You know, just men, know that you are worthy to be taken care of too. You know, and I know it's going to sound kind of strange, but men deserve to be pampered from time to time as well.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Mr. Ron, he's saying, great show, fellas, and love the honest dialogue about our mental health. Yeah, again, this is June. We're the last day of men's mental health month.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, appreciate it. Here goes our good friend and sister Tamika. Appreciate you tuning in. Go back and check it out if you didn't get to watch the whole show. And then she put the website up there for us again, so you can go and register. And also, we got 4 tickets that we're going to be giving away in the coming weeks, right, JT?
Yeah. 4 tickets we're going to be giving away. Also, I'm going to throw an event t-shirt in there for you as well. So whoever wins the 4 tickets, you will receive a event t-shirt also.
So we'll put the rules out there. So look at for them. So we'll put rules out there and say how you can win a ticket and be a part of this event. But go ahead, please register. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're putting these events together to help us. Please just be a part of it and take advantage of this. So, Gregory, we'll let you wrap up the discussion and close us out.
Listen, fellas, when it comes to toxic masculinity, make sure that you are leaving this world with more than you've taken from it. The goal of every man is to move his bloodline forward, that generations after you will be better because you are here. So every day that we wake up, every day that God blesses us with, what can I do to make my bloodline richer and better and more prosperous than me? That's our goal. That's what we're here for. And along the way, we can have some fun and we can have some laughs. And so I just want to encourage all the men out there to don't shrink. Let your light shine. It is our requirement as men to bring calmness to chaos, to show up as leaders, and don't let anyone deny you of that. Do it in a loving, compassionate way, but don't shrink from your responsibility to lead the people that God has given around you to become better, because that's our goal.
Man, you just inspired me to do great. I appreciate those words right there. JT, any final words before we call it quits?
I mean, I just want to say that again, this is something that's close to me. I just want to just encourage all men, anyone who might be dealing with something, that if you know you are dealing with something, know anyone that's dealing with something, just to reach out and get the help. Don't try to hold everything in. Again, it's okay not to be okay. It does not make you weak just because you ask for help. So again, I just want to encourage, if you are dealing with someone, know someone that's dealing with something, to just reach out and get the help. And again, just come to the event September the 27th, so you can have a good time with us and be educated. And like I said, we look forward to seeing you in the building.
Yep, www.lifeiwon'tevent.com. Go there and tickets and help spread the word. We need to get the word out there, so help us out. We'll be in Texarkana in the coming weeks as well, so we'll be doing some promotions there in the area. So look for information on that. We'd love to see you if in the area, so that we can break bread and fellowship. So, Gregory, you want to close us out?
Absolutely. Y'all, it's been great. You know, I can't think of a better way to end Men's Mental Health Month than having this discussion here. It's a discussion that was well needed. Listen, You're not weak. You're just human. Fellas, listen, it's okay. Sometimes you run out of gas. Pull over, fill up your tank, do what you need to do. But, take that break, take that knee. But don't forget about your mission. Don't forget about why God put you here. God put you here because you were needed here. So pull over, fill your tank up. You're not weak. You're not sassy. You're not zesty. You're a human being, and it's okay. And if you're in a crisis, let that crisis lead you to Christ. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. The Floor is Your Podcast is exactly that. It is your podcast. So reach out to us. If you want to hear us discuss anything that's heavy on your heart, we're more than happy to do it. We like to keep it real. We like to entertain and inform. So thank you so much for watching us tonight. We hope that you like, share, and subscribe. Tell everybody about us so that we can continue to be a blessing to everyone that watches. But in the meantime, take care of yourself. Love, peace, hair grease. We out.
Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, look at